All right, g'day, hi, and welcome. What you're looking at here is my very awesome, getting old, Browning Verado, 60 pounds pull at 29 inch. So I think what it was rated for, between 65 and 85% let off. And I've had this bow since 2010. I do believe these Browning bows were brought out in 2008. This bow is still got lots of life left on it. Although it's very dirty, the string on this is actually really good. I've kept it well waxed and everything so there's cobwebs on it right now. So yeah, 29 to, it has what do you call it, an adjustable between 25 and 30 inch draw. And at 29 inch, you get 60 pounds. So yeah, 80 to 65% let off. Now, I've had this bow for a long time and I've shot it a lot. And by today's standards, it's still a good bow. It's a little bit heavier than probably most bows now, a little bit beefier. But one of the reasons why I bought this bow was because at the time it was one of the quietest bows on the market in its class. And it was also one of the best anchoring bows. This thing, it's like when you pull this thing back, it's solid. Like there's no creep at all. Like this thing does not creep at all. It's a very smooth bow. It's not as smooth as like the old bows with the two wheel cam. Like this is what they call a half cam setup, where you got a cam and a wheel. And this is probably the best of both worlds. The bow is rated between 307 314 feet per second, depending on what poundage you go to. The 70 pounder is the fast one. I've never clocked it. I don't know what it does. I don't really care because it's fast enough. This thing shoots like really good, still, even to this day. However, it's getting old, so they recommend that you replace your bowstring about every 2 years or every season or whatever. And this string is the original string, so I would like to get it restrung at some point. Probably just a good idea, but it's been well taken care of. And I'm going to start to let off on some of the poundage. I'm going to bring it from 60 pounds probably down to 50. And I'm going to bring the let off way back to the 80%, which means that I'm going to put it at its minimum performance levels, which 50 pounds with 80% let off, you'd say that's a girl's bow at that point. Yeah, but it's still plenty for hunting. One thing that's gone, I got to replace my string stop. Because it clinks, it's just wearing out. That's all. There's nothing it's nothing wrong with the bow. It's just that's wearing out. So when it hits, you hear it clink. And I got to re-add more vibration dampening. You see, these things wear out over time, right? I mean, this bow's been shot probably about 5,000 to 10,000 times. I don't know how many. I never really kept count. So it's got a lot of use. I've got one critter on it, but I haven't killed anything of substantial size with it. But the reason why I bring it up is, are old bows still worth the money? Well, it depends on the condition. If you can get something in this kind of condition, yeah, it's definitely worth the money. And you could probably find one of these for $200-300. I can't remember what I paid for it new. I know I was in the $600-700 range by the time I walked out the store. The bow up from this was called the Browning Illusion. Or Grand Illusion, I can't remember. And they were nice. Browning bows were really nice. They were made by PSE, but the Browning name for Browning archery doesn't exist anymore. So you can't get these anymore, like the newest, latest and greatest anymore. So I'd like to upgrade my bow. I want to go with something a little bit faster, maybe a little bit heavier, but I also want something lighter. So I want to delegate this as my target bow. But it's all about finances and everything. And I love the camel pattern on this. This is a great looking bow. It really is. I think the actual's 32 inch or 33 inch. I can't remember, but I love the camel pattern on this. The thing about it is that with everything going on in the world today, as crazy as everything is, time. I don't want to make the video too long. Archery is a very good thing. Now, I know there's all you romantics out there want to go, I wouldn't buy that. I'd buy a traditional bow. Don't buy a traditional bow if you plan to hunt. as your first bow. I know there's guys that do it. But the skill levels you need, this will teach you a lot about before. I would get one of these first. Or something like this, something you manage. Don't get crazy on the poundage. Here in Quebec, 40 pounds is all you legally need to hunt deer, bear, moose, right? Which is enough. It means your range is going to be close, probably 30 yards or in. Some places it's 45. The thing is you don't necessarily need the high poundage. It helps. Don't get me wrong, it helps. But there's some guys that used to hunt with 70 pounds and they went down to 50 or 55 because they said they were sick and tired of losing their arrows. Where they found when the arrow stayed in the animal didn't run as far. But even, don't kid yourself, even with 40 pounds, you'll go clear through a moose at 30 yards. Maybe not if you hit the shoulder bone, but that's where you would probably, have the issue with the lower poundage. But the thing is that when it comes to archery, the first shot's the one that counts anyway, because you usually don't get a second shot. And if you don't have the proper skills like this, it doesn't matter how long I let this thing sit for. I pick it up, I have it cranked up full bore to 60 pounds. My main reason why I want to lower the poundage on is because I want to let off on the string a bit, just because of the age of the string. But also to, like a smoother shot that you can shoot more accurately might be better. 60 pounds is nothing. So my next bow, I don't know, I'd like to go 70, 80 pounds just to have it. But I also want a bow that I can shoot more than a few times in a row before my archer's elbow starts to kick in, right? So that's why I want to lower, I want a target bow is what I'm saying. So get all my practices on the target bow, and for every 100 shots out of this, maybe do like 1 or 2 out of, or maybe 10 out of the higher poundage bow. But look at the price of new bows. Well, they're pretty expensive. So if you do some research, like again, this, I don't know if I'd buy a bow quite this old, but maybe if you got the bow for 150 bucks or something like that, and you went and put a new string on it, you'd be at about $300 or whatever. Then you ice much. Then you get at that price point where watch my time here. You get at that price point where you got to watch out, where you can buy, like for example, most of the youth bows now are at the performance of this. You know what I mean? Even if they don't have the poundage, they're making bows faster with less poundage. It's amazing what they're doing. And you can get a bow for $300-400 new. But if you want like a higher poundage bow, maybe used is the way to go. Get something like less than 10 years old. This is 12 years old, so or maybe 5 years old. That would be good. Then you don't have to pay new bow prices, because the nice thing about most of these compound bows is they really don't get used that much. Guys buy them, they practice, dial them in, and then they go hunting with them a few times, and then they just sit there, right? So if you know how to inspect a bow, it might be a really good option to buy a used one. And, you can do research on the bows of whatever year it is. What was the best bow of that year? So I know this bow wasn't the fastest bow of the years that these came out. These were like from 2008 to 2012. I think they made them, or 2010, whatever they made them at. But the thing is that these bows were the quietest, or one of the quietest. But they had a lot more, like there's my vibration reduction, a lot of stuff is fallen off of it. So I got to get all that put back on. That plus a new string might be, a couple of $100. At that point, maybe it's better to put a couple of $100 towards another bow. But used bows, definitely don't discard them. Like this bow will be lethal for years and years and years to come. As long as the string holds up and it's maintained, this bow will probably outlast me. So anyway, I'll leave it at about that. So yeah, definitely something for you guys to consider and look at. What am I doing for time? Okay, I'm going to wrap it up anyway. So yeah, so there we go. Yeah, definitely, hunt around, because sometimes you can find really good deals on bows like this, even if they're a little bit older. Again, this thing is still plenty fast. It's plenty accurate. Deadly out to 50 yards if you can make the shot. I myself probably wouldn't hunt past 30, but that's just me. All right, anyway, there we go. All links down below to support, and make sure you hit the like button and everything. Have yourselves a great day, eh?